Some Democrats and legacy media are rushing to admit they might have been wrong about the first 6 months of President Trump. Speaking of, President Trump and Senate Majority Leader John Thune fight Minority Leader Chuck Schumer over nominations and recess. And Texas Democrats are fleeing from their gerrymandering colleagues to Illinois. I'm Tony Kinnett, host of the Daily Signal's Tony Kinnett Cast, syndicated nationally at 7 p.m. Eastern. It is Monday, August 4th, 2025. This is the Daily Signal's top news in 10. After a series of major trade deals with Indonesia, Japan, the Philippines, Vietnam, the European Union, and South Korea on the 29th, a new executive order on reciprocal tariffs and some broader economic victories coming in on the 31st, and then a July tariff revenue record of over $150 billion collected in 2025 so far, there are several senators and legacy media officials who are not traditionally major fans of Donald Trump that are recognizing that perhaps the Democratic Party might have been wrong. Here's Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania.
I'm wondering if you think right now Trump is winning the trade war. Do you agree with those who think he is?
Absolutely. I think that, obviously what happened at the EU, and again, I'm a huge fan of Bill Maher. And I think he's really one of the oracles for my party. And he acknowledges, hey, he thought that the tariffs were going to tank the economy, and he acknowledged that it didn't. So, so for me, it's like, again, it seems like the EU thing has been going well, and I guess we'll see how it happens in turn.
Harry Enton, host of CNN's Margins of Error and quite the poll analyst, suggested that President Trump is easily the most influential president of the 21st century, not just because of these trade deals, but because of expanded policies like immigration and military maneuvers in general.
And I think the theme of this segment is going to be love it, like it, lump it, Trump's remaking the United States of America. We can start there with tariffs. What are we talking about? No tacos for Trump. The effective tariff rate, get this, 18%. It is the highest, Omar, the highest since the 1930s, up from, get this, just 2% last year. As I'm going to talk about in this segment, I can't think of a more influential president during this century, and it starts here with tariffs. He said he was going to raise tariffs, and despite the claims otherwise, he is in fact doing that. The effective tariff rate at this point looks to be 9 times as high as it was last year, the highest since the 1930s and FDR, Omar.
And the effective tariff rate is up from 2% last year, for those that might see the banner there. Tariffs, though, aren't the only way Trump's remaking policy in America, right?
It is not the only way that Trump is remaking America. What are we talking about? Well, let's jump. The other big thing that Trump ran on, right, was immigration. How about net migration into the United States? Get this, it's down. It's going to be down at least 60%. We may be dealing with, get this, negative net migration to the United States in 2025. That would be the first time there is negative net migration in this country in at least 50 years. We're talking about down from 2.8 million in 2024. So Donald Trump has always run on tariffs, and he's run on a hawkish line on immigration. And on both of those issues, we are seeing record high tariff rates for this century going all the way back, well back into the early part of the 20th century. And when it comes to immigration, net migration, we are seeing record low levels, way down from where we were during the Biden administration. We are potentially looking at negative net migration for the first time in at least 50 years. And that is a big reason why that I'm saying that Trump, at least in my mind, is the most influential president, certainly this century, and probably dating a good back chunk into the 20th century as well, Omar.
So when you say most influential, statistically, how much is Trump doing?
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about this. How about executive orders? Already, 180 executive orders signed by Donald Trump this year. You have to go all the way back to the FDR administration once again to find a year in which there were as many executive orders signed as we have this year. To give you an idea, Biden during his first year signed 77. That's the entire year. We're only a little bit more than halfway through this year, Omar. Again, this is why I'm saying executive orders immigration with net migration, and we're talking about tariffs and the effective tariff rate. Donald Trump is remaking the United States. Love it, like it, or lump it. He has been tremendously influential to a historic degree, Omar.
This brings us to the fight between President Donald Trump, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, and, of course, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer over a series of nominations and a recess that has the rest of the country spinning. Not necessarily because this is something typical in any administration. Right now, we're in the part of nominations and confirmations that are usually just rubber stamped by any Senate as a measure of goodwill and the appreciation towards keeping the country rolling. That isn't the case. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, in an open fight to stop any possible move by the Trump administration, has been taking every single nomination from the Trump administration, whether it's for a federal judge or for the second dog catcher at your local county jail, suggesting that every single one of these needs to be stretched out to the maximum hour limit, a fight, every single vote, every single speech in front of the entire Senate. It's turning into quite the circus, leading to Senate Majority Leader John Thune and President Donald Trump agreeing to send the Senate to a short recess until September, and then when that Senate returns, essentially changing the rules of the Senate, allowing Republicans to steamroll a lot of these nominations through. Here's the problem, though. According to President Trump, and I'd say better articulated by Senator Markwayne Mullin, President Trump has criticized Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer for extorting $1 billion to fast-track Trump's nominees. Here's Senator Mullin.
We're wrapping up a long push here. It's late Saturday night, and the whole fight's been trying to break this filibuster that Chuck Schumer has insisted. And what it's all about is President Trump's nominees, getting them in place. And every president has the right to put their cabinet together and to put their people in place to run agencies, run certain departments, or their ambassadors. The problem we have here is President Trump's the first president in history that has not had any of his civilian nominees go through by voice vote or unanimous consent. Most time what happens is there's a huge package put together. For instance, 98% of George Bush 41 was put through in one package or either by voice vote or unanimous consent. Bill Clinton, same thing. Obama, same thing. Large group of them gone through. And what you see here with Donald Trump, their hatred towards Donald Trump is just completely polarized our ability to put these people in place. Now, at the same time, we've, I think, completed 136 nominees. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. And this time in 2017, we'd only completed 55. So we're way ahead, but they still filibustered every single one of them. So President Trump started trying to negotiate with Chuck Schumer, trying to say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We'll make a deal with you guys. Just let my noms, especially the non-controversial ones. I mean, these nominees that no one even knows what they do, but I mean, we know what they do, but the American public doesn't know what they do. But these non-controversial noms, let them be pushed through. Let them go on, and what do you need? What's the price for it? They wanted over $1 billion. $1 billion for special pet programs. That's unheard of. And President Trump told them to go pound sand. He said, we're not doing it. Go pound sand. After 3 days of negotiating, I mean, I'm talking about tough negotiations. Finally, President Trump said, go pound sand, forget it. Senate, go home, let's regroup. When we come back, we're going to change the rules. So what we're doing right now is, even though we're not going to be voting for the next few weeks, we're going to be looking at changing the Senate rules, because if Thune is right, which he said this beginning, we can do it the hard way or the easy way. They're insisting, Chuck Schumer is insisting us doing it the hard way. Then the only option we have is to change the Senate rules to break the logjam to move on through. So unfortunately, this is where we're at, and I guess we're living to fight another day.
And last but not least, a little bit of political irony for your Monday morning. Texas Democrats in the state legislature who are very upset that the Republican colleagues are redistricting the Texas map, suggesting that Texas Republicans are up to gerrymandering, are fleeing to Illinois amid a special Sunday session yesterday afternoon, making a last-ditch effort to disrupt this mid-decade redistricting attempt in order to break quorum so that the Texas legislature wouldn't be able to vote on new matters, orders, and legislation. Here's the catch. They can actually be arrested for this. Attorney General Ken Paxton has also called for them to be arrested and brought back. But I digress. Perhaps the most ironic moment of all of this little show of political theater is that the Texas Democrats are fleeing to the most gerrymandered state in the Democrat wing of states, Illinois. If you've never seen the current congressional map of Illinois, allow me to paint you a bit of a word picture, at least for those on the podcast side of things. Those watching right now, you can see that essentially there's this very awkward stripe that cuts across Illinois from St. Louis border all the way up through Springfield and almost touching the other side of the state. Then there is a very awkward shape surrounding the entire middle portion of the state of Illinois into one single House district. This is Illinois' 15th. And then below it, almost a third of the state of Illinois is Illinois 12. So in case you are keeping score here, 2/3 of the state of Illinois is essentially governed by 3 House districts, 2 of which are Republican, except for a creative blue stripe up through the middle. And then the rest is, well, Chicago and Rockford, Peoria, and it's essentially a croissant and spaghetti-themed inspired nightmare. Before you go, head down to the description and make sure you're subscribed to the Tony Kinnett Cast, which, according to the Apple Podcast ratings, is now number 5 in the country for political podcasts, as well as number 13 in the news category. I honestly can't believe it, but we are incredibly grateful to those of you who tune in, whether over on the podcast side, on the YouTube, Rumble, and X live streams, and then, of course, our radio and TV affiliate partners. Thanks as well to producers Nick, Daniel, Lou, and Allison for all that you guys do to make sure this show is running as quickly and as smoothly as possible. I'm Tony Kinnett, and this has been the Daily Signal's Top News in 10. Take care.